there, I'm Madison Fitzpatrick and this is Info Simcoe, and today we have a special guest, author Angie Van Cise. Hi Angie.
Hi Madison, nice to meet you.
Yes, thank you so much for being in studio with us today.
Thank you for having me.
I just want to start off with a little bit about yourself and why you became an author.
Well, the first time I held a book in my hand, I knew I wanted to write one. I grew up in Collingwood. I was born and raised there from a family that immigrated in the late 1800s. They landed on the Fourth Line, and 8 brothers came, and then our lineage came down the line from there. It was my great-grandfather. So after I held that book, I actually kept it a secret. I didn't tell anyone I wanted to write a book ever in my whole life. And then my brother passed away in 2012. And I thought, what am I doing? Why am I not living my dream? Why am I not doing this? It'll be a big regret. And so I started thinking about it again, and I reached out oddly to a medium in Barrie. And I only reached out to her to find out how my brother was doing. If he had any messages, I needed something. He didn't want to die, and it was just a bad situation. And she actually is the one that said, my grandmother came and told her that I wanted to write a book and I needed to write it. And I almost said, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't want to write a book, because I had protected that for so long. And then I thought,
you must be crazy.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And then I thought, oh no, you know what? Maybe I need to hear this. So that's when I started taking U of T courses, and that was back in 2013.
Wow.
So the first book, Cry of an Osprey, was written out of my heart and had to, get that out first. And then the real mystery, my real passion, came next, which was Hidden in the Shadows.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that first book a bit.
Sure.
Can you tell the viewers, if they haven't read it, tell us a little bit about that book?
Sure, yeah. You guys were lucky, or I was lucky enough that you guys featured that.
Oh no, we were lucky. Don't worry, we were lucky to have you on.
Yeah, no, it was wonderful. And anyway, that book was very emotional. My brother didn't wake up one morning, but he was still alive, breathing, heartbeat, but nothing else. And so the book sort of is told from 2 point of views. Amelia's, which was mine, and that one shows what we went through in the hospital, which wasn't the happy part of the book. The other side was his first real gay male relationship, told from that partner's perspective. So I took the reader on a journey of sad, but then showing how they met, their first dates, what they explored with each other, and so that book was more a semi-autobiography, I guess you could say.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I actually found myself, as I was writing it, saying, do I really want to write mystery? But after the book was done, I was like, yeah, that was the one and only. Now I want to write mystery. So
yeah, well, tell us about this new book. Obviously, you paid honor to your brother in your last one, but this is something for you.
Yeah, it was. And again, I contacted that same medium because I wanted to write. I was just, now that Pandora's box was open, it was like, okay, I just can't stop writing now. But I didn't know what to write about. And so I contacted her, and she said, there's a sheriff, a small town or something, and I knew right away. When I was 9, I found a photograph in my grandfather's box of photos, family photos, and it was of a woman standing beside this tiny box. And I thought, it intrigued me. I was like, what is that about? So I held it out and I said, Papa, what is this? And he said, that was a first case of mine and I don't want to talk about it. He was a police officer.
Wow.
And he patrolled the beach all by himself for 30 years. Like, he was the police chief for 30 years. And so, anyway, I kind of thought about it over the years, but then when he passed away in 91, I was like going through pictures, and there it was again. Well, now I'm in my 20s at that time, and I'm thinking that small box is a tiny coffin. So I said to my Nana, what happened? And she said he'd never talk about it.
Right.
So I thought, how intriguing. Like, how did the baby die? Did the mother do it? Did the sibling do it? The mother covered up? Like, what's the story, So it took me on this really deep journey. Things kept falling into my lap. It was interesting, the process. So again, this book has 2 point of views. One from Evie, who finds the photo the same way. Grandfather doesn't want to talk about it, same story. And the second POV is from the killer. I didn't know who the killer was, whether it was male or female. So that point of view is told from first person, and Evie's is third person.
Wow.
So it takes you on quite a journey. It went down some really deep rabbit holes.
Yeah, and you were telling me that this book is so unique because it actually has real life stories attached to it, right?
Yes. So during the journey of trying to figure out what I was going to write about and what happened, somehow these videos of these survivors of satanic cult and child trafficking landed in my lap. And their stories broke my heart. I mean, it's horrific what they've been through. And I listened to some from Australia, I listened to some from US, I listened to some from Canada, and their stories were all the same, and they were from different decades. It's like these rituals they perform are always the same. And so I thought, do I write those in here? And I went to the comments, and the comments broke my heart more than anything, because people were commenting, oh, you're delusional, this didn't happen to you, why do you spread these lies? And I'm thinking, these poor people, kids and adults, have literally survived the gates of hell, and now you're saying that to them. So I knew they needed a voice. So I became that voice. So the killer perspective is very hard to swallow, but it's also real testimonies.
Right. Well, Angie, I wish we could have you on here longer.
Yes.
Your story sounds so riveting, but where can readers find your book?
They can find it on Amazon. They can find it on Barnes & Noble, and they can also get it off my website, which is advansizeauthor.com.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for being in studio with us today, Angie, and we'll have you in for your next book as well.
Sounds great. Well, thank you for having me. It means a lot.
Awesome. Well, make sure you check out Angie's new book, Hidden in the Shadows. Stay tuned for more InfoSimco.